Hi, I'm Paula from Happy Yoga Wales, and this practice is all about sun salutations. So we're going to be doing pretty much all of the different sun salutations that are popular in yoga. So the classic sun salutation or Surya Namaskar, sun A and sun B. We're not going to do many of each of them, but this will be a practice if you want to treat it as such. I'll also be giving lots and lots of teaching points. So if this is something that's fairly new to you, then you could treat this as more of a tutorial. You can pause as you go through the practice. So entirely up to you how you use this. I would love to know how you use this. So let me know in the comments after you've practiced with me. So we're going to start today in a child's pose. So our first little flow isn't a traditional sun salutation, but it's something that I personally use just to warm up the body. So bring the big toes to touch, sink the hips down on the heels, walk the hands forwards, and then rest the forehead down. And just take a few breaths here. Maybe just taking this time to check in with how you feel today. So being aware of the physical body and any sensations that might be there. Checking in with the quality of your breath, your energy, any thoughts, emotions, and anything else that might be going on with you today. And just seeing all of this like an observer from a distance, slightly detached from what it is that you come across. Maybe constricting the back of the throat, finding out Ujjayi breathing for that wave-like sound. Relaxing the shoulders and just taking 2 more breaths here. So then when you're ready, take a big breath in through the nose and exhale, sigh out of the mouth. And then inhale, lift the hips and come up into a tabletop position. So spreading the fingers wide, make sure the index fingers are facing straight ahead. You can even turn them out slightly. So if this is new to you, then just have a little play with that hand position as we move through our practice. I'll talk a bit more about hands later on. So from our tabletop, take another breath in here. And then exhale, round the back, find a cat pose. So you're pressing the ground away, looking back towards the thighs. And then inhale, let the belly come down, chest comes forwards into cow pose. And then as we exhale, we're going to tuck the toes under, press the ground firmly away and lift the hips and find our downward facing dog. So in this first one, we're just going to paddle out the feet. So bending and straightening the knees one at a time. So coming back to those hands, we want to press really firmly into the fingertips here. And as you do that, imagine pressing the palms of the hands down too. And that should take out some of the pressure from the wrists. And then focusing the index finger and the thumb as our main kind of points of contact here. So really pressing into the inside of the hands and the fingers. Keep lifting those hips up high, taking 1 more breath here. And know that at any time you can bring the knees down, come to a tabletop, which is exactly what we're going to do now. So exhale, and then inhale, let the knees come down. And we're going to start to flow through these movements. So exhale, hips to heels, child's pose. Inhale back into our tabletop position. Exhale, tuck the toes under, lift the hips, downward facing dog. So really lift those hips high, press the thighs to the back of the room. And then inhale, knees come down nice and controlled. Seeing if we can use the whole breath for each movement. Exhale, hips to heels, child's pose. Softening the shoulders, softening the jaw. Inhale, lifting the hips, tabletop. Exhale, tuck the toes, pressing into those fingertips. Draw the low ribs in, broaden through the upper back and the collarbones. And then inhale, knees come down, tabletop. Exhale, hips to heels, child's pose. Inhale, tabletop. And exhale, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Again, pressing into the hands, lifting the hips really high. Inhale, slowly bring the knees back down. And exhale, hips to heels, child's pose. Inhale into tabletop. And exhale, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. So we're going to move into our classic Surya Namaskar. And we'd normally start from a standing position, but we'll start from here today since this is where we are. So we're going to bring the left foot forwards in between the hands. So step it through. You can use your left hand to help it there if that's easier. Exhale, bring the feet together and fold over the legs. And as we inhale, press firmly into the feet, find a flat back and keep coming all the way up with strong legs, reach for the sky. Exhale, bring the hands to heart center. And let's go again. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step the left leg back, find your lunge. And then exhale, step back, downward dog. And inhale forwards into plank. So this part is optional. This is our vinyasa. And then from here we can lower. So bringing the knees down or keeping the knees lifted. And as you lower, let the arms graze the side of the body. As you can lower all the way to the belly for this first one. And then inhale into cobra. So shoulders come down and shoulder blades squeeze together. Exhale, tuck the toes, press all the way back. You can keep the knees down if you want to. And find your downward facing dog. So that's one round of our classic sun salutation with a vinyasa in there as well. And at any point, if these down dogs get too much, just bring the knees down and find a tabletop. Inhale, take the right leg forward. Step it between the hands. Lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, feet come together at the front of the mat. Folding over the legs. Inhale, press firmly through all four corners of the feet, coming up with a straight back, hinging at the hips, reach for the sky. And exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale, fold, bending the knees, letting the spine be long, head heavy as you fold forwards. Inhale, step the right leg back, find your lunge. Lengthen through the crown, collarbones broad. Exhale, plant the hands and step back to your down dog. So you can rest here, you can come to a child's pose, or you can take that vinyasa, so coming forwards to plank. And this time, maybe you could try bringing the knees down and then the chest and the chin down. So it looks a little bit like this. And the elbows stay grazing in as you lie onto the belly and roll into cobra, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Exhale, tuck the toes under or roll over them and find your downward facing dog. There's so many options. So it really is finding what feels right for you. So if you're here in your down dog and you want a little bit of a rest, bringing those knees down, taking a bit of pressure off the wrists, even coming into a child's pose. And if you're in your child's pose, come and meet in our downward facing dog. So we're going to move into a Sun A. So this is probably the most common one that we see in yoga classes. So again, pressing into those fingertips, lifting the hips high, press the thighs back, press the chest to the thighs. Take your breath in and exhale. And then we're going to walk the feet to the front of the mat. So you can just step one at a time. You can take a big step to the front, or you could even hop. I'm just going to take little baby steps today. Exhale, fold forwards over the legs. And then inhale, slide the hands up the shins and find a halfway lift. So this is our flat back. And then exhale, fold back down. And then inhale, press firmly into the feet. Find that flat back one more time. Keep coming all the way up, reach for the sky. And then exhale, hands through heart center. Inhale, reach for the sky. Keeping the low ribs drawn in as you do that. And then exhale, bend the knees, folding forwards. Find your halfway lift, so slide the hands up to the shins or even all the way up to the thighs, but really let the shoulder blades come back, and then exhale, fold forwards. Plant the hands and step back with your right foot for this first one and find your plank pose. So again, you can take the vinyasa, which is part of our Sun A, or if you want to skip it, you can anytime. So you can lower as we did before, or you can go all the way down like a stick to the belly, and then inhale into cobra, and then exhale, downward facing dog. And again, just take a few breaths here in between our 2 rounds of Sun A. So we're just doing 2 rounds of each. Keep finding length through the spine. And then inhale, walking those feet to the front of the mat. You can bend your knees as much as you need to here. And then exhale, folding forwards. Inhale, slide the hands up, halfway lift. And exhale, fold back down. Inhale, plant the feet firmly into the ground and come on up all the way to stand, reach for the sky. Exhale, hands through heart center. Inhale, sweep the arms up, take up space. Exhale, hands through heart center, hips high, head low. And then inhale, find your halfway lift, sliding the hands up, shoulders away from the ears, relaxing the jaw and the neck. Exhale, plant the hands, and we're going to step the left foot back this time. And find your plank pose, inhaling here. And again, you can lower from here, knees, chest and chin, or in one line. You could do a chaturanga if you want to, which is coming down halfway and then flipping over the feet and coming into an up dog rather than a cobra, so a little bit more powerful. And then exhale, finding your downward facing dog or your child's pose, your tabletop, whatever you like. At this point, you might just want to head straight to Savasana. And take a couple of breaths here. And so we're going to move into our Sun B. And again, we're just going to do a couple of rounds of this one. So we're actually going to start our Sun B from the top of the mat. So walk the feet forwards. And just find your forward fold here. Releasing the hands. Might feel nice here just to interlace the fingers and just make some little circles with the wrists. Just loosening up any tension that might be there. It can be quite tough on the wrists if you've not done this before, so just go easy. Or even if you have done this before. And then you can come up to stand, again finding a flat back, so inhale, slide the shoulders away from the ears, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and then strong through the hamstrings and the glutes, come all the way up to stand. Nice. So our Sun B, we're going to start, once I've tucked myself in, from our mountain pose. So find your nice strong mountain pose, and inhale here, and exhale. And we're going to inhale into chair pose, so sink the hips down as if you're sitting in a chair. Keep the heels on the ground, and you can reach the hands forwards or straight up so the arms are in line with the ears. Exhale, fold the torso forwards and lift the hips up. Inhale, find a halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to plank and lower on that same breath. So you can lower your way. And then inhale into cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. And then picking up your right foot, we're going to step it in between the hands as we inhale and find our warrior one pose. So pressing firmly into that front heel. And we're going to take an extra breath here just to give you a little bit of a pointer or two through our warrior one. So we want your front knee over your ankle, and the front foot faces straight ahead. Your back foot can turn out at an angle, so it doesn't want to be too far back like this, but it can point slightly at a diagonal. Just find what feels right in your hips here, and adjusting your stance as well to what feels good. Now, if this really doesn't feel nice on your knee, you could always take a crescent lunge here, so a high lunge pose. So if you're here in warrior one, pressing firmly into that back heel, and you can take the arms up all the way overhead, making sure you don't stick the low ribs out, so keep a little bit of engagement here. And then take a breath here. And then exhale, nice breeze. Bring the hands either side of that foot, step back to plank, and exhale, lower all the way down through your chaturanga or all the way to the belly. Inhale into cobra or up dog, and then coming back to our downward facing dog. And then right away we come to the other side. So we inhale, pick the left leg up, stepping it through and finding our warrior one. So bringing the front knee above the ankle and pressing firmly into that back foot, especially the outside edge. And then turning the shoulders towards the front of your mat. Inhale, sweep the arms up. So in our traditional 7B, we would only be here for part of a breath. So just for the inhale before lowering back down. So we're just taking it a little bit slower today. So on your next exhale, we're going to lower the hands, frame out that front foot, step back to plank, and then lowering your way. So knees, chest to chin, all the way to the ground, or maybe chaturanga. And either coming into cobra, up dog, and then coming back to our downward facing dog, or resting in our child's pose. So many options. Pressing firmly into the fingers if you're in your down dog. Take a couple of breaths here. And then walking the feet to the front of the mat, we're going to find our forward fold, exhaling here. And then inhale, coming all the way up to chair pose. And then exhale, pressing into the feet to stand. And then let's do one more round from here. So inhale into your chair pose, sink the hips down. Exhale, hips high, head low, forward fold. Inhale, slide the hands up, halfway lift, shoulders away from the ears. Plant the hands, step back, exhale, lower from plank, all the way down, either through chaturanga or to the belly, coming into cobra or up dog. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg high, and coming into our warrior one pose, sweeping those arms up. Keeping it moving, exhale, frame out that front foot, find your plank, lowering down, taking your version of vinyasa here. Inhale, lifting up the right foot, stepping it in between the hands and finding your warrior one. Exhale, framing out the right foot, step back to plank and lower your way. Inhaling, cobra or up dog, and exhaling, downward facing dog. And we're going to walk it all the way forwards on our inhale. Exhaling to fold. Inhale, find that halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And inhale, chair pose, sweep the arms up, sink the hips back. Exhale, stand to mountain pose, hands by the sides. And pause. And just notice how you feel. So notice the heart beating in your chest, maybe a little bit faster than before. Notice the breath. Notice your energy. And then we'll just flow back down to seated. So inhale, sweeping the arms up. Exhale, come down through heart center and fold forwards. Inhale, finding a halfway lift. And then exhale, we're just going to take the feet a little bit wider, so the toes turn out at a diagonal, and then sink the hips down, find our yogi squat, our malasana here. And either keeping the hands on the floor or bringing the hands to heart center, reach tall through the crown of the head, let the shoulders come down, away from the ears. So these sun salutations can be really energizing, traditionally done in the morning. And they are a really good way to wake up the body, wake up the mind, and get the energy flowing. And then releasing the fingertips to the ground, we're just going to bring the fingertips behind us and sit down. And we're going to keep coming down all the way onto our backs. And just to counter some of the forward folding that we've been doing today, we're going to take a bridge pose here. So bring the heels in towards the hips, about hip distance apart. Press firmly into the feet. Keep the chin tucked in. And as you inhale, peel the tailbone off the ground. Hands can just be by the side of the hips. And then exhale, roll and then back down. Let's do 2 or 3 more of those. So inhale, pressing into the heels, just moving with your own breath, nice and easy here. I've got the most beautiful view of the greenest trees and the bluest sky. And take 1 more here, pressing into the heels, hips come up. And then exhale down. So taking any other movements that you feel you need here, maybe bring the knees in, have a little rock side to side. And when you're ready, take the legs out long. And bring the shoulder blades underneath you. And just let the collarbones be broad, the shoulders melting away. Take a big breath in here, fill all the way up, let the belly expand. And exhale, sigh out the mouth. And just taking a few moments here in silence to allow our bodies, our brains to absorb our practice. And then start to deepen the breath, reawakening the body. Maybe blinking the eyes open, taking in your surroundings. And when you feel that you're awake, making any little movements that you want to. Bringing the feet in towards the hips and rolling onto one side. And when you're ready, coming on up to a seat. So stack the shoulders above the hips 1 more time, reach tall through the crown of the head. Roll the shoulders back. Bringing the hands to heart center, let's take a big breath in here together. And exhale, sigh out. Well, thank you so much for practicing with me. I hope you enjoyed this, something a little bit different to what we normally do on here. If you're watching this on YouTube, please do go ahead and like and subscribe and check out my other practices on here. We've got all kinds of yoga from yin, restorative to slow flows, and also some meditations. And head over to happyyoga.wales where you'll find even more videos in the on-demand library there. And I look forward to seeing you again soon on the mat.